I'm going to talk about Qatar. Qatar is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. The country developed its share based on natural gas, oil, and diverse investment around the world. However, the question remains: how Qatar became so rich so fast? Many countries have fossil oil, but few have done well as Qatar to take advantage of them. Most countries like Venezuela, Iraq, Liberia, Nigeria, and others were victims of the resource curse. When an abundance of resources lead to the economic distortion and limited growth, Qatar has done much better than to reinvest money from the energy and diversity its economy. The support of the United States as well as decades a proven reserve has also fostered the stability in the country. The small peninsula has the highest GDP per capita in the world to 1910, 8,000, and even that number may greatly underestimate the real wealth of the 280,000 citizens of Qatar. Qatar has enough money to build a large metropolis in the desert and won the right to host the World Cup 2022. Qatar has been ruled by all Anthony family since the early 1900s, when it became the British protectorate. On July 17, 1913, Sheikh Abdullah bin Qasim Anthony became the ruler of Qatar. At the time, the Qatar primary industry were pearl and fishing. The country has been marked by the widespread poverty, malnutrition, and disease due to the collapse of the pearl trade in the 1920s. In the 1939, oil was discovered by Dukhan. The field development was slow until 1949 because of the World War II. Although the discovery of oil was important, it was nothing compared to the natural gas reserve found 30 years later. In 1951, Qatar produced 46,500 barrels of oil per day, or 4.2 million in revenue. The discovery of offshore oil and their development by Shell led to an increased Qatar production to 2,000 barrels per day. New revenue from oil export flooded the pocket of the ruler family, and Qatar began a slow process of modernization. First school, then hospital, a power plant, desalination plant, and the telephone exchange all opened in the 1950s. Oil revenue has increased quickly in the 1960s. That the Anthony family has strengthened its grip on power by installing relatively high government posts. All members of the Anthony family were granted extravagant allocation. Qatar gained independence in 1971 after British announced the withdrawing on its military obligation to the east of the Suez Canal. On 22 February 1972, Hamad-e-Khalifa, his father, Imi Ali, who was hunting hawk in Iran. Khalifa-e-Hamad got spending of the royal family and the increased spending on social programs, housing, health, education, and pensions. In 1971, the field North Dome gas condenses of Short Park was discovered of the coast of Qatar. It is the largest natural gas field in the world. Oil production was still running high at the time, so the areas were not developed. Then to the North Field, Qatar has the largest natural gas reserve in the world after Russia and Iran. The oil price crash in the 1980s has slowed the Qatar economy. The crisis led the country to finally develop the North area in 1989, but even then, production has been slow. In 1995, the situation in Qatar has not improved. Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Anthony took the throne in a coup on Imi bin Hamad, while the emirate was Switzerland. Sheikh Hamad put a whole new direction for the country. One of the first measures of Sheikh Hamad was to accelerate the development of the North Dome field. Production was high, and Qatar began exporting natural gas for the first time. To accomplish production and increase demand, Qatar has started the construction of new liquid natural gas plants. Over the past 15 years, 40 liquid natural gas plants has been built in partnership with international oil companies. In the late 1990s, Qatar has signed production sharing agreement with many international oil companies. New business started using horizontal drilling method to reverse the decline in oil production. The partnership between Qatar and Maersk Oil has resulted in longer horizontal oil drilling in the world. In 1996, Qatar has built the giant $1 billion on-Uday air base, which served as a logistics center and command for the U.S. Army. The partnership with the U.S. Army gave Qatar an unprecedented level of security. In 1997, the country has started long-term agreement to supply massive amount of natural gas to Spain and Japan. Over time, Qatar has diversified its clients. Thanks to the stable oil production and the production of high natural gas, Qatar GDP has skyrocketed over the past 15 years. Hoping to avoid the red curve of natural resources, it has taken steps to diversify its economy. In 1998, the government built education cities, a massive campus that supports 6 American and 2 European universities and research centers and think tanks. Qatar has amassed a sovereign fund of $170 billion thanks to oil revenue and natural gas. It began investing like a hedge fund. In 2003, Qatar established the Qatar Investment Authority to recycle revenue from oil and gas to other sources of income. QIA has made large investment in Barclays Bank, Credit Suisse, Aaron Potter, Volkswagen, and a majority stake in the football team Paris Saint-Germain. The country has become one of the largest holders of real estate in London by the QIA, also known as Qatar Investment Authority. It owns the largest skyscraper in Western Europe and large part of the Canary Wharf and other parts of the city. The Qatar Financial Center was built in 2005 to develop financial service industry of Qatar. The country believes it can become a leader in financial service for the Gulf states due to its relative stability and a large capital base. In 2006, Qatar adopted Indonesia to become the largest exporter of liquefied natural gas in the world, with revenue from oil and natural gas amounting to 16% Qatar GDP. But more competition came with a liquid natural gas production booming in places like US and Australia. In December 2010, Qatar was chosen as a host for the FIFA World Cup 2022. The country has promised to build 12 state-of-the-art stadiums that use cooling technology so players could escape heat. Qatar has established itself as a hub of sport in the region, hosting or planning to host numerous sporting events worldwide. Meanwhile, the skyline has changed dramatically in recent years. Here's how the town looked like in 1977. Here is how it looks now. Since 2058 skyscrapers were built, planned, or under construction in Doha, with museums, stadium, giant infrastructure projects, and more. There have been numerous allegations of labor and horrible living conditions for migrant workers who build the World Cup site and other projects. This is not the first time that Qatar has been criticized for the treatment of migrant workers and second-class citizens. It was also always that the country spent $5 million in bribery for the submission of the 2022 World Cup.